Hi, welcome back. Alright, so it's time to talk about marching cymbals. The first thing I'm going to do is just go through and kind of define what some of the actual sounds are and the technique required to execute them in real life, just so there's a little more clarity about what the sounds are and the terms used, since everybody has their own definitions for various sounds. First, just kind of your three stock crash sounds. There you go. Then we've got the sizzle sound, which is just putting the two cymbals together and keeping them far enough apart so they make a sizzling sound, and that'll last as long as you hold the key down. The suck sound, which is essentially just setting one cymbal on top of the other with the top one farther away and then pulling it towards your body. All right, and these are the ensemble sounds. These are the solo sounds. You can hear those sound a little more soloistic in nature as far as like individuals playing them. We've also got our tap sound. This is the solo sound, just tapping the cymbal with the other one. The tap choke, a tap but actually choking the sound. We've got our crash choke, it's crashing it, choking the sound off. Same sound, it's kind of a different variation. We've got our zing sound, which is just starting the edge of one cymbal in the bell and pushing it up towards the other edge of the cymbal and essentially pushing it off of the cymbal. Got a slow one, then the fast one. That one's a little slower. That one just happens a little bit quicker. We've got our sizzle suck sound, which some people call them slide chokes. I've heard people call them fusions before. And the way that works is, as long as the note's being held, it will sizzle. As soon as the note actually releases, you'll actually get the choke sound, and that's something we'll actually touch on a little bit in a later lesson, how to actually execute that more easily. So anyhow, let's do a little bit of entry. And I've actually gone into my mixer and soloed out just the battery instruments so I can hear just these, so I want to figure out what I want to do writing-wise. So I think I'm going to put a crash on the downbeat, just a port crash. Let's go into note entry mode, half note. All right. And then I think I want to put a sizzle to kind of match up that tenor-line buzz sound. And to get the sizzle sound, you actually have to add a tenuto marking. I'm actually going to enter the sizzle sound without the tenuto marking. So here's what it would sound like without that tenuto marking. You can actually hear you get the sizzle suck sound. So I'm actually going to come back now and add that tenuto marking. Let's hear how it all sounds in context. Cool. Let's continue on a little bit. All right, back into note entry mode. Quarter note rest. I went through the music earlier and I thought that a couple of solo suck sounds here could work. Whoops. I want to make those eighth notes. Then let's put a tap choke right here. Quarter note tap choke. For that to be a tap choke, it'll need the staccato marking, so I'm actually going to go back my arrow key, give that a staccato marking. And for these sizzle suck sounds, or pardon me, just the regular suck sounds, those will also need staccato markings. Otherwise, they'll just come across as sizzle suck sounds. And then I'm going to put a zing right here on my release. All right, something you'll actually notice with these sounds that have a sort of peak to them, like this sound when you play it, you can actually hear that right immediately when it triggers, you're not actually hearing the sort of peak of the sound. There's a bit of a build up into the sound. It's small, but it's there. In a later video, we'll actually address how to make that sound the way you would probably actually execute that in person. So that's it for this lesson. A nice little overview of the cymbal sounds. In the next lesson, we will actually start to cover the idea of addressing what's known as live start position and this whole zing sort of pre-cymbal sound. So we'll see you next time.